Good evening, fellow comrades. This is Jane. I'm the host of Political Gravity, and I have Suzette on the line. We're doing a casually minded show tonight. Um, this is the Christmas season, so we have to bear in mind that it's the time of year to cherish things and to be thankful. And tonight's topic is, it's not too heavy. It's about how Elon Musk is trying to influence Congress before Donald Trump even takes office, and he's very vocal about it. They're quoting him in the national news, and I heard he subtly threatened Mike Johnson, like, do you want to keep your job, do it this way, or don't get reelected. So I do think that is kind of, we haven't heard a word from JD Vance. And even though he's not a main directive person, even though he's the vice president who votes in matters of ties in the Congress, but we haven't heard a word from him. And Elon Musk is touting himself, like he's number two in command, where he's now people are calling him President Musk. So he has to dial it down a bit and let Donald take control, and at least wait till the end of the inauguration, because there's a lot at stake here. A lot of government employees would be laid off for several weeks if it doesn't go through. No, I heard it did go through today. So with that, I'm going to bring Suzette in, and Don, John, or Pianki should be calling in soon. Hi, Suzette.
Hello, Jane. Good evening.
So, because of my work schedule, I decided to add a shift on today at the middle school in the middle of the day, a half day. So I didn't get too much studying done. I only heard what was said on the mainline news on the radio.
Oh, okay. So you're
So go ahead.
From what I understand, Elon's as far as his influence in not passing the bill, the resolution, the CR that would push it until March, and would pay the government up until March. This 1125 pages in total. And within that, there were things that didn't need to be funded until March, and that were added in there. Things like the Congress getting a raise, getting you more health care benefits. What was the other thing? It had in there that if Donald Trump's DOJ wanted to investigate Congress for anything, that they could not ask for any type of documents like emails, any type of communications.
Why is that?
Huh?
Is it because why would they put that in there?
You tell me. Maybe there are members of Congress that know that they shouldn't have been doing stuff like insider trading or that type of thing, where it needs to be looked at and considered because there's enough evidence to take a look at it, or enough circumstantial evidence to dig. They won't be able to do anything about it. So there's that. There's J6 committee with that as well. But anything that comes up, or anything that somebody may have questioned as far as that would require an investigation, which Kash Patel, that would be his job to do, would be basically stopped from doing that with what was written in the bill to prevent that from happening, from preventing him from getting any type of communications between congressional members and whoever. And so, there's a lot of different things that are in this bill that was put in there in that 1,125 pages. Now, grant you, there were some good things too, but that was amongst a huge amount of things that shouldn't have been in there. So if they wanted to, they could do a clean bill for the things that should be paid for or given money on that side. Like, the people, the disaster victims from the hurricane, in Tennessee and in, North Virginia, or whatever it was. Anyway, so that would be fine. Just that and that only, and then move on to the next thing as far as what else needs to be funded. Okay, if it's, I don't know, FEMA for another disaster or something else, then just make it about that. That basically is what I'm saying, making a clean bill, which is a single bill by itself, and then move on to the next thing, vote on the next thing. It's doable, but they never want to do that. And they make these big old bills that have all kinds of things in there. They give them this bill, whoever proposed it, the night before, to read it all, and you're not going to get through all that. So the Republicans have voted no, or basically the original CR that had all that stuff in there was voted no. And in addition, a different bill was put up, but the Democrats don't want that one because it took out some of those things, or a lot of those things that should have been in it. They wanted money to basically move the stadium from, where was it? Baltimore to D.C. or something like that. They want their own football stadium in D.C.
Why? That seems kind of trivial.
Yeah, and yet they're playing on the heartstrings of Americans. All these people are not going to get paid that work in the government, and what about their families and Christmas and yada yada? And so, do you really need a raise? I mean, the raise is like 30 or 40% increase.
That's a lot. That's a lot when we're in the middle of two wars.
Right, exactly. And Congress, people are not happy with the job that they've been doing. And Congress as a whole, not just one side or the other, but as a whole, none of them deserve a raise at this point. And if they require more money, well, then they should get a side job, because this business of it being a career and getting raises annually and actually voting on your own raise. I think we should get this much. I do too. Let's vote on it. Who's going to say no to that? Come on.
That's a good. The other one thing I remembered while you were talking. Mm-hmm. What is the I can't look anything up when I'm on this particular page, but what is the breakdown of Democrats and Republicans in Congress right now? The House, not the Senate.
That's a good question. I know that at this point, it's a slim majority for the House that they require at least 4 Democrats in a vote for anything to pass. So, or say no.
Well, one thing I remember hearing in the news that at first the Democrats were trying to tack on extra things because they know it's like their last hurrah before President Trump goes in office. And I also heard that Republicans wanted to flesh out the major pieces or even the minor pieces of legislation that is not popular. So then after the Republicans propose that, then the Democrats don't want to vote for the package either because they're not getting their way. So nobody really got their way entirely in this package.
Right. Let's see. They did vote on the original bill. Let's see, vote on a very similar spending bill expected Friday. So there, I guess that would be today. I know Mike Johnson wanted to pass the bill, but there were several Republicans that did not. And that was because, again, if it wasn't for Elon going through the bill and finding all these little extra things that were tucked away in there to let people know what's really going on.
Is it him or the people working for him? Like, is he doing it himself?
No, obviously. I mean, that it would not be feasible for him because he has a lot of different companies to run. But yeah, of course he has his people, I'm sure, go through it. The American people, which are his people, could go through it. And if he had the time to pick it apart, no, I don't think any one person could have done it all by themselves with the amount of time given to look through the bill. So he probably had several different people. He probably parsed it up and said, go through this 100 pages. You guys go through the next, 100 pages or whatever and see what it's all about. So
we can re-up that conversation after I remind Pianki and Don to call in. I want to bring up, I did hear some semi-good news about Biden. The Pope invited Joe Biden to the Vatican in January. I don't know if it's after he leaves office or during his tenure, but next year is the year of Jubilee, when all the Christians, it's a thing in the Bible, in the Old Testament too, where it's 50 years. It happens once every 50 years, and everybody's sins are forgiven, and they owe no more debts. So in biblical times, like before Jesus became a major factor, people were allowed to have all their debts forgiven.
Oh, well, that's good for him.
Did you hear about that growing up in the church?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Okay, one of our hosts called in, so I gotta call them back. So just a minute.
Okay.
Here. I had to put you on hold while I did it. It appeared that someone called in, but I can't tell.
Oh.
So let me just look one more time. Okay, just a second. I don't know. Maybe it was a call from a few hours ago. I don't know. But every time I change screens, I get cut off. So are you calling from your husband's phone right now? The one that's or are you calling from your Google phone?
From my device phone, my regular device phone.
Okay. Yeah, like I do want to stop and interrupt. Can you talk about 1 minute while I send out a reminder text?
Yes. So the spending bill, the CR resolution or spending bill resolution, USA reported that the House voted 366 to 34 to approve the measure. There were more Democrats than Republicans that supported the stopgap bill, which required a 2/3 majority vote. All the no votes came from GOP holdouts, and the bill appeared on a glide path to the Senate approval. So now it was going to the Senate for them to vote on it. So they may change it and may have to go back, but they will.
Hello. All right, I'm adding you to the call, so hold on.
Well, what?
I
gotta get rid of that other call.
Okay, can you call back in a minute?
I'll call back in 30 seconds.
Okay.
So, whatever we do, you can't look into our communications, which would be emails, text messages, any type of documents like that.
Suzette, Pianki, I called him back on the wrong phone, and when I pull him in, you're gonna get cut off. So could you hold your thought a second?
Sure.
Yeah, he's gonna can you just say in one sentence, repeat what you were talking about, because I was distracted.
Oh, no problem. I was just going back over the spending bill and what USA was reporting as far as the amount of votes. It was, you had asked me earlier about how many votes to what vote. So it was 366 to 34, with more Democrats than Republicans that supported the bill. So
I get it. I'm waiting. So in overall, we'll just talk generally until he calls back in. Overall, I think the Democrats lost a few more seats in the House and Senate. So now it's going to be fully Republican. So do you think the Republicans are going to be brutal? Like, are they going to keep in mind the benefit of the entire Americans? Or do you think they're just going to be cutthroat and go after their agenda in the next year?
I think that if they plan on keeping their seat, that they're going to go with the agenda of the American people. It's already been shown on Twitter that when the American people are not happy with, something like the spending bill, for granted, they contact the leaders there in Congress. They call them up, their representatives, and let them know. And there's been responses like that, even with Donald Trump's nominees. When the names come out for this person, for this position, people respond on Twitter. And one of the, wish I could remember right now, people that Donald Trump nominated for a position, people, are looking into their background to see who they are and what they are about. And they found out that person that he had nominated for a position, cabinet position, was one of the persons that were putting people in jail that went to church during COVID. And
they put people in jail.
Yeah, because if you lived in a state where they had lockdowns and you were not supposed to be, holding any type of church on Sunday or whatever.
Yeah, John mentioned that while it was actually happening.
Yeah, and you showed up, then you would be arrested, and this was one of the persons that was doing that. So once the American people were responding on Truth Social and on X, overwhelmingly, it caught Donald Trump's attention, and then he reconsidered, and then he pulled that person and then replaced him with somebody else.
What was the name of that person?
I cannot remember right now. I'll have to look it up, but I'm not in front of the computer, as you know, where I'm sitting right now. So I'll have to get that for you, or Pianki, or somebody wants to look that up.
I can look it up quick. I don't understand. I'm going to try calling him one more time. He said he'd call in 30 seconds under a different phone.
Oh, okay. So my point being with that is that, Congress, the Republicans really are going to, if they want.
How come you didn't answer the phone?
It's not ringing. I don't know, but you have to stay on this phone, okay?
All right.
Okay, hold on.
And so, because there were people in the Senate, if you remember, Republicans, that had already made up their mind, sometimes even before Donald Trump had chose nominees or announced them, and then after, well, yeah, we don't think that person's a good fit for that position. I don't think I'm going to be voting for that nominee. And before they even met the person, they just were starting to say, yeah, we're not going to vote for that person. And then they suddenly changed their mind after the people started responding. Hexus guy that's going to be for the defense, he was one that the Senate had already decided they were not going to vote for. But then
what was his name? Hegseth?
Mm-hmm.
Pianki's on the phone. Some of your...
Pianki?
A couple sentences of yours got interrupted when I had to call him back. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Hi, Pianki.
Hello, I'm having my dish of oatmeal. How you guys doing?
We're doing okay.
I don't know what happened, Pianki, but the last time I could tell when people called in, and I just had to merge the call. And I don't know what happened this time. I didn't see. I saw the missed call, but I didn't see the call coming in.
Oh, okay. Well, we got together.
Yeah. So, how many times did you try calling in?
About 5.
Okay. Let me get it back to the. Okay, now we can all talk. So here's the update, Pianki. Suzette and I were talking. We started the show saying that Elon Musk has a very vocal influence on the budget plan that passed today, or the last minute spending bill. And I felt like he's too vocal, and that other people who are significant in the next regime, we haven't heard a word from, like J.D. Vance. And then Suzette and I were talking about things inside the package that weren't necessary, including a stadium in DC and a raise and other important details. And then I asked her to talk about other details while I was trying to get you in.
Well, that's why people should get involved with Article 5 Convention of the States. Because one of the proposals that is not the three that we're seeking right now, but people have suggested, is that a bill stands alone. And within the title of the bill, its constitutionality should be included. And the public should have at least 30 days to review the bill and give comments. You don't have that right now. And like you have mentioned, and people have mentioned, originally this bill was like 1,600 pages long.
Yes.
Yeah, you just said it had a stadium in D.C. It shouldn't have a stadium in D.C. and all these other perks, along with their raises. Federal officials, that is congressmen and U.S. senators, should be paid by the states that elect them, not come out of a kitty in Washington, D.C., but the states that elect them should pay them. And whatever money they was going to submit to the federal government, they should withhold it, and it goes toward the pay. They should be paid whatever the state wants to pay them. Their health and benefits should be the same as state employees. They shouldn't be running to Walter Reed Hospital. And if there's a retirement, the retirement should be the same as state employees and commence at the same time, not 2 years after they get out of Congress and they get full pay for the rest of their life. No, let them start collecting when they're 65 or 67.
Don't they get a pension? They don't get the full pay unless they stay in office till they're dead.
No, I think that their pension is the same as their pay.
Well, that's crazy because the House has 400 members. That's a lot of money.
Well, exactly, it's a lot of money.
See, I can't. I'm live streaming now. I'm live streaming, so I can't look up that fact right now. I can't change screens. So maybe one of you guys can look that up while you. It's my understanding that they're like regular government employees and they only get a certain proportion when they leave Congress. Like Dave Durenberger in Minnesota, who served in the 1980s, I doubt he's still getting a government pension. I don't know. So what other things have you, while Suzette's looking that up, what other things have you seen in the news that you like or disturbs you?
This bill disturbs me because there's a lot of things that's in there that shouldn't be in there.
What do you think they're sneaking it in? Because the government's going to change hands in about 30 days?
They're doing everything that they can to spend money.
Right.
Everyone.
It's like a last-ditch effort because the Democrats are losing, they're losing power.
Yes, then you got Biden that's issuing pardons on people that haven't even been convicted of a crime.
1,500 people he pardoned.
So that's corruption to the highest level. And the fact that people are so ignorant that they won't say anything. They are very ignorant. American population consists of a large portion that's totally ignorant. And that's why these things are allowed to go on. Cori Bush, she came into office in Missouri, 1st Congressional District, on the heels of Mike Brown being killed and George Floyd. She was on the verge of bankruptcy.
Is she still in office? Is she still in office?
No, she got voted out. But she was there for 2 terms, 4 years. And she was on the verge of bankruptcy when she was elected. when she got defeated, and this is this month, I think, is she got to leave. They say her worth is worth about $12 million. Well, where did it come from?
Well, some people write books when they're in office. Other people probably have massive fundraisers. Who knows? Maybe a private company slipped her money. Is she white or black?
Cori Bush is black. That's why they should be paid by the state, the deposit in a state bank. That way that the state auditor can look and see where her money is coming from. Who donated to her?
Well, everyone has to file taxes.
Yeah, but that information is not available.
Oh, I have important news that I just remembered. The CEO of Bitcoin used to be a shoestring company that nobody would look into or invest. Even in 2020, Donald Trump said, don't invest in it, it's not stable. Now all of a sudden, Bitcoin has blossomed. Like it's 400 times what it's worth. And the CEO donated a lot of money to the Trump campaign. And now they're very influential. And it's making a difference for their company and possibly future financial dynamics. Like people converting to work, invest in Bitcoin instead of regular money. Did you guys hear that in the news this week?
Nope. I didn't pay your attention.
They did a special on the CEO, how they had to work their way up. And now that guy who wasn't important at all, they had a summer conference and Trump attended in July, and how much the dynamics has changed and how much that company has an influence in the election as opposed to 4 years ago they had none. So I'm not really a big fan of cryptocurrency. It's mainly because I haven't looked into it. And the couple thousand that I have floating around, I'm not going to put into something that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah. Well, I have the info on that. I think what we were talking about, so you, as a member of Congress, you can choose out of 4 different plans for your retirement. And so the one that I think is that most people are talking about when we say that they receive most of their paycheck as a pension is where they have to be in Congress for about 20-25 years, and then when they retire, they'll get up to 80% of their salary replaced. So that's pretty good.
Okay, anyways, John just wrote me a disturbing message. I'm going to try calling Don into the group, or should we just skip it? We're having a nice conversation.
You don't want to include Don, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that since Pianki had trouble calling, since Don had trouble calling, Pianki, then maybe Don's having trouble too. We can call him in a few minutes. Let's wrap up between us 3. Because you guys, I can only stay on the show till 10:05. I have to leave for work then.
Okay.
So I guess the general mood of the country is it's no secret that Donald Trump got a concise majority, towering 2.5 million in popular votes over Kamala Harris. So the dissidents are still not happy. They're very angry. But on the other hand, certain things are really going to go away now. Like there's not going to be any public funding. Like if you're in the army and you want to change sexes, forget it. It's not happening. If you're in a public school, there's going to be a shift more towards traditional values depending on the state, not every state. Like I haven't seen much about the tone, but with unusual things happening in the news, like Luigi Mangione icing the president CEO Brian Thompson, and then that Christian girl, only age 15, who killed a teacher and a classmate. There's still weird stuff happening, but I think America's going to come together more under more traditional values. Do you guys agree?
Yes, I think that's what we need, and I think that's what a lot of people would agree with as well. As Joe Biden had said when he was running for office, I'm going to bring normal. I'm going to bring normal back, and the adults will be back in the room again. It's like, really?
I think from his perspective, it's more. He's probably just thinking of the way government used to be run back when he was senator, and that he's a proponent for human rights, but he's not as vocal as Obama. Oh, I read recently that Michelle Obama wanted gay rights to be vocalized, but Obama didn't really want that agenda. So it was her that put that forward.
Did you see or hear about Dr. Jill Biden? And she was doing a speech, and initially she began her speech and she was dissing Kamala Harris because she was doing the whole, hello, good evening, this is a time when we all need to come together and America, and she was, and at the end she's I just want you to feel the joy.
So she was kind of like subtly putting her down?
Yeah, yes, because after that, she was quiet, and the audience got it, and they started clapping and laughing. She says, "You know where this is coming from. You know what I'm talking about."
I don't. That's not really politically correct for her to do that.
I thought it was great.
Like, just keep the comments general.
Yeah. Oh well, she's really upset because had Kamala and Nancy Pelosi and others not plotted to remove her husband from the ticket and put Kamala herself in, I don't know, for some reason I think Jill thinks that, her husband would have won, which then she could have stayed in the White House longer and to do whatever it is that she does. But
well, she's not a spring chicken either. She should go ahead and enjoy retirement.
Sure, absolutely. But I think she's just upset about the whole way that, they connived behind his back and kicked him out. They didn't have really a say-so.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Like they supported her when they really didn't.
That's a good point. I heard something in the news. I thought it was just maybe like a left-handed smear. Something about Kamala Harris is still raising hell somewhere. Like, Don's calling in. I'll merge the call, okay? Yay, I did it. Hey, Don, you're on a conference call, and you have to get out of the noisy room right now. Okay, bud? Don?
Yeah.
You're on a call with 4 people on my phone, and the first thing is, are you in public?
No, I'm at home with my daughter's birthday, our granddaughter's birthday party, so I'll put you on hold.
Okay. Well, put yourself on hold and go in a secret room.
Hi, Don.
I will.
Okay, Pianki, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm done eating my oatmeal.
You and Don, senior citizens, eating ice cream and oatmeal. That's on the breakfast. That's the breakfast menu.
Oatmeal with raisins and bananas, good, and walnuts.
It's senior citizen food.
Let's just, until Dawn gets in a private room, let's briefly mention that John and I drove to Ontario, which is actually the smoothest leg of the drive. We got there like in an hour from downtown LA, and we had a nice visit.
Yes, it was great seeing you both, Jane and John, and they stayed here, visited, I don't know, almost 2 hours.
It was almost 2. There was only one glitch. John and I had a fight about celebrity Christianity, while Suzette and her husband looked on.
What's that?
While you and your husband looked at us like we were an old married couple.
Yep, exactly. And you brought me Chipotle, and that was really good.
I'm glad you liked it.
What? Oh yeah, and the nuts. You guys liked the nuts that I had out. Each one of those little cups that were out, I put out. Those are for you guys to take the whole cup.
Well, John ate 3/4 of the nuts.
Yeah, and then Rob gave him the rest in a bag to take home with him.
It's okay because I had already eaten that day. So I felt like John and your husband connected, and then I connected with you as usual, but I didn't get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, me neither. It was kind of hard. Those two were really hit it off, so that was good. At least they kept the conversation going. You were really tired.
Yeah, I fell asleep twice.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad you didn't fall over.
Pianki, do you ever go to California? Oatmeal Man, do you ever go to California?
Oh, a couple of times. I don't like it out there.
Oh. Don, are you in the house now? Or are you on mute? Don Gallimore. Okay, anyways, let's just go back to our conversation.
Well, when you come...
Oh, here he is.
No, I'm here. What's up?
Don, what's your feeling about the...
California. No, just kidding.
No, the conflict of the last minute budget resolution, Elon Musk over voicing his concern and trying to influence our government without our permission, and the rest of the story.
First of all, it is our permission. We voted him in. Elon Musk is the savant of Trump now. He's let him be his savant. So whatever Elon wants, Trump will give him because he's under his. He's like Putin, the new Putin. All right, but the bottom line is that if you're talking about California, the thing I'm worried about is that they made the mandate for electric cars a deadline of 2035, and that's impossible. So there's no way we can get fully electric.
He got cut off. Are you cut off? Okay, well, there are 40 million people in California, so I don't think everyone can convert to electric cars by then.
Right. Exactly.
We're only a week away from 2025.
But it's just not realistic, for any date to set a date for that to happen. It's just not realistic.
I did hear something else. We only have 16 minutes left. I heard another poignant thing in the international news that now that Syria resumed their government under a different leadership, and the Ukraine and the North Korean and Russian fighting is worse than ever, that Russia has lost its stature in the world now. Like, they're not considered a formidable... They're still formidable, but they're not effective. In other words, they're not considered influential where they need to be, and they still have Ukrainians on their own ground, and it's not looking good for them as far as how much they can influence the future. Do any of you guys agree with that, or beg to differ?
No, I don't agree. And I think that you should leave those countries alone. We got enough problems in the United States. And 99% of Americans couldn't find Ukraine or Russia on a map.
Agreed.
I was talking to a Ukrainian in the airport, and he did validate that Kyiv, which used to be called Kiev, used to be the capital of Russia, all of Russia, before St. Petersburg. So I know where it is because I'm a history and political science person, but I just think I don't even know how Donald Trump should approach that war particularly. I think he should try to put out certain fires in other places where there's autocratic rule. He claims he can solve everything instantly, but it's impossible.
I don't know if he can do everything instantly, and quite frankly, when he was making those statements as far as saying that he could get the Ukrainian war stopped, when he enters office, and the possibility, Israel, at that point in time, the circumstances were different. Before Biden and NATO started interfering and messing, giving more weaponry and even putting boots on the ground, NATO themselves. So that changed everything, that dynamic, to where he may have had a chance at actually stopping the war in between Ukraine and Russia. There was angles or whatever he could see, to talk to these people, negotiate something between them or whatever. But then that got all messed up. Biden messed that up. So the possibility of him actually doing what he said concerning that matter, the whole dynamics have changed now, and that would have to be whatever he had planned is off the table now because the circumstances are different. So
yeah, the dynamics in the world are the way they are, and obviously Netanyahu is everybody's least favorite these days. But this much pressure points on different parts of the world, it's going to have to be alleviated some way because a lot of people are seriously suffering. And I'm tired of even scrolling through Instagram every day and seeing starving kids in Gaza. Like they're asking me for money in the Sudan and Gaza. I give $10 here and there, but I don't make it a regular thing.
do you know where your money's actually going? I mean, have you
probably like 50% to the operation to get the food there? Like the overall cost.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather do it through a direct Christian charity that's been around for a long time. Like on the Catholic channel today, there's a Holy Family Hospital in Bethlehem,
Mm-hmm.
where last year they delivered 550 babies, but some transportation lines have been cut off to the hospital, and they're serving the poorest of the poor in some of those regions, and they're still making a huge difference as far as baby deliveries. They didn't really talk about other stuff like hospital points, but it's still a Catholic charity. The money's coming from the Catholic Church and funded by the Catholic Church, and 70% of the hospital is run by women. But I'm glad places like that are still functioning in a war zone. So I trust it's like I trust the Baptists for like disasters like hurricanes because they're always the first ones on the ground. But you're right, you do have to research. You have to research the funding, like where it's coming from, because I really don't think. Yeah, I don't think we should be bombarded on social media. Like I'm traumatized.
Yeah, I agree, and they use those pictures for that very reason, to guilt people into giving money. And the reason why I ask, as far as do you know where your money is going to, some of those charities, Christian charities even, have more administrative costs that have to be paid for than money going to the actual cause itself. And that's sad and disturbing, but that's what happens a lot of times. They have all these administrative costs that they say that need to be covered in order to keep the charity going, in order to keep the kids fed. It's like, well, but how many are actually being fed out of that money? I appreciate, yes, you need to keep it going, but if more money is going to pay for the function of it rather than the feeding, it's sometimes it can just get really. It's not to say they're stealing. I'm just saying as far as their overhead costs and mismanagement, or maybe even stealing. I don't know. Pocketing, I guess you could say. But yeah, so you always have to check to see where that money is actually going. Where is it going? How much of it is going? And,
Okay, I would like we only have 9 minutes left, so I would like Don and Pianki to jump in with their conclusion on what the next 30 days in America looks like.
Well, Trump should, hopefully the administration would have concerns about the people that still not tended to as they should be as a result of the hurricane, and those that's been locked up illegally from January the 6th should be let out and given reparations.
Yeah, they just convicted another January 6th guy, and he got 3 years probation. Big deal. Like CNN made a big deal out of it. It's nothing.
Well, they all should be let out. On January the 3rd that year, Trump had given a directive, both by letter and verbal, to acting Secretary Chris Miller to provide security at the Capitol grounds, and he didn't do it. And he gave a reason why he didn't do it.
What was the reason? Because he didn't think it would be that bad?
Well, I texted it to you. He gave a reason because he didn't want to receive the blowback on Twitter.
The thing is, Pianki, I've been
I understand.
I've been on a trip. I only watched about half your videos this week.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. How can we say that Trump was promoting an insurrection when evidence shows that he was doing things to try to prevent any mayhem that could have, as we saw, did go on? So it's a whole bunch of falsities.
And over the course of the next 3 weeks, Congress is gonna be out of session a while. I don't expect anything major to happen in the next month, like a terrorist attack or anything. Do you guys see anything like that in the future? I just know the border people are scared, and people who came over here illegally, let's say they came 2 years ago, I think some of them are leaving voluntarily right now. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I saw something about that on the news. There's also California, of course. We have our governor calling for emergency. What do you call it? Across the state for the H1N1, the bird flu.
Oh yeah, I did hear about the first major bird flu case came out this week.
Yeah, and so I don't know what that. Well, I do know sort of as far as what that's going to mean. Of course, more lockdowns and more masks, but I don't think people are going to go for it this time.
What they should do is lock everybody in California. Don't let them come out.
I met a Chinese guy on the plane. He didn't speak a lick of English, and we kind of used hand gestures, and he offered me a bag of Chinese cookies. It was kind of a fun interaction.
Yeah, that's funny. That's good. Interesting.
Yeah, I think he lives like in Alhambra or something, and I don't know what he does here, but he went to Orlando Magic Kingdom for his trip.
Really?
It was
That's
nice.
funny.
It's fun to have exchanges with people, even if you don't speak their language. So
yeah, you find ways to communicate, you know.
Right, and we were packed like sardines on Spirit Airlines.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so Don, what's your take on the next 4 weeks?
Oh, Don is downstairs at the party, but his wife, next 4 weeks, who knows what's the take on the next 4 weeks.
Hi, Pat.
Hey, how are you?
So do you think what do you think the biggest conflict is right now besides Elon Musk trying to run the government?
Well, of course, you know, did they fix that government shutdown type thing yet? But moving into the future, I know everybody's freaking out about what's happening. I'm not. I mean, there's nothing that we haven't done before. So with that being said, you know, it's just going to be business as usual, right, folks? And, you know, take opportunities to make sure whatever it is, whatever side you're on, I don't believe in side, I believe in issues, that we are ready in 4 years, because that's what I'm doing, planning what's going to happen 4 years from now, so we can make sure that we have someone that we all want that will work for everybody, right? And that's because that's what it's all about. This is America. And America was basically based on the Constitution, like 1776. I'm not a constitutionalist, I'm just saying that. So those folks that are constitutionists, that know what the Constitution is, that have read it and understand what it does, then everyone would understand that, you know, what's happening right now is not what our founding fathers would have liked. That's if you know the Constitution. If you don't, then you'll agree with what's happening.
Also, they did mention that a lot of even people like Jeff Bezos is kowtowing to Trump. Like, they're all cozying up to him.
Well, you know, obviously, he doesn't seem to be able to be touched. So, with that being said, I mean...
Well, I'll call you guys before Christmas, but have a happy holiday, okay?
Yeah, happy holidays, definitely.
Yeah, Suzette's
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Suzette's the only one left to talk, so you can hang up if you want, Pat. Okay.
Don't worry, yeah, he's downstairs. Got one turning 17 years. We got 9 grandkids. What can we say? All right, I'll let him know.
Okay, God bless. God bless.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Suzette, you did a good job carrying the first part of the show while I was getting organized. Do you have any final words? Okay, Suzette, I really enjoyed your city, Ontario. It has wide paved streets, and it doesn't feel crunched in like certain parts of LA. So I thought it was a beautiful city. Are you there, Suzette? Okay, with that, I'm gonna bye, Pianki. I'm gonna end the live stream. Bye bye.